It was supposed to be another ordinary evening for Ethan Rivers, the millionaire CEO of a tech empire that spanned continents. He had everything: fame, fortune, and the kind of success others envied. But that night, he sat alone on a park bench, eyes distant, tie loosened, hair tousled by the wind, and a deep ache in his chest he couldn't shake. The sun was melting into the horizon, casting golden light over the park, and birds chirped as if the world had no worries. But Ethan's heart was heavy. His father had passed away 2 weeks ago, and though they'd had a complicated relationship, the loss opened wounds he didn't know he still carried. In the boardroom, he was unstoppable. But in this quiet park, he was just a broken man. He didn't notice her at first, the tiny feet approaching, the sound of humming. It wasn't until she stopped right in front of him, holding a melting popsicle and wearing a pink backpack far too big for her shoulders, that he looked up. "Mister," she said, tilting her head, "you look really sad. Wanna meet my mommy?" Ethan blinked. The girl couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. Her voice was sweet, eyes wide and full of innocence. He hesitated, then smiled gently. "That's very kind of you. But I don't think your mommy would want strangers following you around." The little girl giggled. "You're not a stranger now. I told you my name. It's Lily." "And you smiled. So we're friends." Before he could respond, she took his hand in hers. "Come on. Mommy's always helping people. She's like a superhero. She'll know how to fix your sad face." Ethan was taken aback. He was used to negotiating $1 million deals, not being pulled along by a child half his size. But there was something in Lily's presence, something warm, like sunlight cutting through a storm. Against his better judgment, he stood and let her lead him through the park's winding path. They arrived at a cozy coffee cart parked near a small open-air market. A woman in a soft blue dress stood behind it, handing a warm cup to a homeless man sitting nearby. Her hair was tied up in a loose bun, flour dusting her hands, and her eyes, those deep, kind eyes, met Ethan's as Lily called out. "Mommy, I found a sad man. Can we help him?" The woman looked startled for a second, then gave the kind of smile that made time slow down. "Lily, what did I say about dragging strangers around?" "But he was sitting all alone," Lily said seriously. "And he looked just like you did when Daddy left." Ethan's heart skipped. The woman's smile faltered for a moment, then she stepped out from the cart. "I'm sorry if she bothered you. She has a big heart, that one." "No, not at all," Ethan replied. She's something else. I'm Ethan, by the way." Her expression shifted slightly. She recognized the name, but didn't say anything. "I'm Mia. Want a coffee? It's on the house. Only if you smile, though." And he did, for the first time in days. That single evening turned into more. Ethan started coming to the park more often, always finding a reason to be near the coffee cart, near Lily's laughter, near Mia's quiet strength. He learned that Mia was a single mother. Her husband had left just before Lily turned 4. Instead of collapsing, Mia poured herself into her daughter, and into starting something of her own. She'd left a well-paying job in advertising to run a small mobile coffee business, one she hoped to grow one day into a cafe with an attached reading nook for kids like Lily. Ethan, who had spent his life building empires and buying out competitors, found it humbling to watch Mia hand out free coffee to struggling artists, parents, and lonely elders. She didn't care about profit margins or scalability. She cared about people. One night, as they sat by the park's lake, Ethan opened up for the first time. He spoke about his father, a cold, calculating man who pushed him toward success but never once hugged him. About how his wealth made people treat him like a prize, not a person. Mia listened. She didn't interrupt, and when he finished, she looked at him and said, "Maybe you weren't meant to be like him. Maybe you were meant to heal what he broke in you." Those words stuck. He began changing, not because he had to, but because being around Mia and Lily made him want to. He downsized unnecessary meetings, started actually talking to the janitors in his building, and even set up a foundation to fund single mothers who wanted to start their own businesses. His board of directors didn't understand. His friends were confused, but Ethan didn't care. For once, he was living. Then came the day that changed everything. Ethan had planned a surprise for Mia and Lily, a small cafe space in a quieter part of the city, renovated, furnished, and ready. He didn't want to just buy it for her, he wanted to invest in her dream. But when he brought them there, Mia's smile faded. "This is beautiful," she said slowly. "But I never asked for this." "I know," Ethan said quickly. "But I wanted to." You've given me so much without even trying. She hesitated. Ethan, I care about you. But I don't want to be your project. That line hit like thunder. He hadn't thought of it that way. But she was right. All his life, he'd solved problems with money. But Mia didn't want to be fixed. She wanted to be understood. Ethan backed off, gave her space. For days, they didn't talk. He stayed away from the park. And then one rainy evening, a knock at his door. It was Lily, raincoat dripping, holding an envelope. Mommy said to give you this. Inside was a handwritten note. Greater than, you didn't need to buy me anything to matter to me. You already did, when you listened. When you showed Lily that not all men walk away. If you still want to walk with us, not in front or behind, but beside us, we're here. Tears fell from Ethan's eyes for the first time in years. Not because of grief or regret, but because of hope. He scooped Lily up in a hug and whispered, I've been waiting for a family my whole life, I just didn't know where to look. 6 months later, the small cafe opened, but this time, with Mia as full owner and Ethan as silent investor. The reading nook was always full. Lily helped decorate cookies and told every customer, my mommy and Ethan built this with love. And every morning, Mia would pour Ethan his coffee and say, you still look a little sad sometimes. To which he would smile, only when you're not beside me.